I think I was super lucky in having encouragement at a young age. My dad's actually an artist, so I grew up creating art, drawing. In our family, it was more like deciding what kind of artist you wanted to be than if you were going to be an artist. I always had good drawing skills, from a very young age. So basically anything I can imagine, I can pretty much draw, which when you start drawing from reality, it can teach you how to manifest the things that you imagine in your head. And I've always been in love with line, and certainly you're considering line a lot when you're designing with glass. It's not all about the colors, it's also about the line that the metal's going to make. So there's definitely a process that I've honed over the years where if somebody comes to me and says they'd like a stained glass window, it's not like there's only one possibility, and I like to give people options. So I do these small sketches so people are really, involved in the process. But yeah, after they pick out the small concept, the next step is I lay it out full scale. And over the years, it always kind of amazes me how true the small sketch usually stays to the full scale. Like it's usually got right about the right amount of detail to go from something this big to huge. And then we talk about what kind of colors, they want. Sometimes it could be very minimal, just with clear glass and textures, to pale translucent tints, to full-blown opalescent. And each kind of glass has its own strength. The best is to be a natural light, and so then as the light coming through the window that the stained glass is in, it's constantly changing and reacting to the light. So it's kind of maybe partly my love of nature. It becomes something that's interacting with sunlight and is not a static thing. And then I make a pattern that you cut out of stiff paper with special pattern shears, they're called, and then they're taking a tiny bit away. That's to make up for the heart of the lead. And then you cut all the glass first. I like to cut all the pieces, see them all laid out. You're still choosing the glass usually as you go along, and I spend a lot of time just holding different sheets of glass next to the one that I've cut before to make sure it's the right choice. And after I cut all the pieces and I start leading from the corner. And so you already have your glass cut. Occasionally you have to grind it a little to make sure it's going to fit right. And you have your pattern underneath it so you can see if you're going over the line, then you have to grind a little, because even a 1/16 of an inch, if you get too many 1/16 of an inches, by the time you get to the end, the window could be too big. And so once you've got everything lined up perfectly, then you take your horseshoe nails and you tamp everything. It's exactly to the measurement you wanted. Maybe you got to grind a little because it went over a little here. Then you start soldering, and it goes pretty quickly, and it's where all the pieces of metal come together. Then, after you've got it all soldered up, I usually always patina windows, because solder, or the lead and zinc channel, is silver color, which maybe for a very modern window, I've seen where people leave it silver, but I think it looks much better to patina it and turn darker, and it lets the glass show more. Instead of seeing shiny silver, now the metal is kind of a blackish, brownish, and it lets the glass really shine. So then once you've got everything soldered up, you have to cement it into the spaces between the lead and zinc channel and the glass itself. And so that's making it weather tight. Otherwise, you would literally hear the glass rattling. And it also makes it one unified, strong panel. And it's kind of like the windows looking all nice, and then you got to rub this black putty all over it, and it looks kind of yucky. And then you sprinkle whiting on it. It kind of absorbs up the excess putty. Then you take a scrub brush and you scrub it very vigorously. Kind of buffs both the lead or zinc channel and the glass itself. So that's your final step, and I'm very happy with the Ginkgo window. And the way I've always designed for stained glass was not like being controlled by the process so much. I would like figure out how to force the glass to do what I wanted it to do and get some enjoyment out of it. I do fine art as well as stained glass. And then when people ask me where I went to school, and I say I went everywhere and nowhere, because I did go to a lot of schools, but I don't have a degree from anywhere. And just the way my mind works, I just couldn't fit into the structure of the school so much. And so it was like I sort of created my own structure and sucked what I wanted out of the colleges as opposed to going through their program. I felt like I put myself almost through my own form of graduate school at that time. Not only was I learning about the materials, but I was also growing, aesthetically. The way I am, I like to get very immersed in things, whether it's an environment like the rainforest or learning how to cast bronze or make prints. And when I was honing my stained glass skills, I was making a lot of trips to rainforests in Mexico and Central America, and that's where I kind of first fell in love with the rainforest. And I would do drawings right in the forest, various different plants, and often those direct drawings fed right into stained glass windows. And filling these books with sketches, I would turn those into prints. And I fell in love with the rainforest right about when everybody was like, save the rainforest. And I became an activist, did artwork to specifically try to educate people about the issues. And I realized I'm a good interpreter of the natural world. With my art, I've always felt like I want people to learn something from it, because I think humans have an innate affinity and love for nature. And the skill that I have the most is art. So I'm taking the tool that I have honed the most and that I have the most passion for, and I've tried to use it just in the way an ecosystem works together. Each little organism has their part. Hopefully my little part that I'm doing changes the way they think about nature and hopefully the way they interact with it. I'm fine-tuned to take in information about nature, science, and the environment and create beautiful and meaningful artwork that can impact people in a positive way.